Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the New Era Paranormal Podcast with JD Curry and Irina Killoways. We also have a returning guest who was the first appearance this season on the podcast. Shawnna, do you want to talk about your background in the paranormal briefly?
Sure. It's not very expensive, to be honest with you. Um, my mom was very involved in paranormal, so I just tagged along, like I told y'all before, and didn't really dive into paranormal until she passed away, like wholeheartedly, like doing the whole scientific side of it to, just going and having fun and seeing what kind of cool things, the cool equipment with all the funny little lights can do, right? Because that's fun. And then, obviously leading into, we've been doing more actual scientific paranormal theory. So that's been really cool. So yeah, I would say like I really haven't been like into it until like the last almost 2 years. So because mom passed away in 2023, we started running her group about 2 months later, Unique Paranormal 1.5, and we just hit the ground running with it and just dove right into it.
And then you have a location that was involved with your mother also, right?
Yeah, so we, as a tribute to her, because she always wanted to own a paranormal location, we looked for a spot for about a year, I think Danielle was looking for, and we found the Doss House. And we were able to purchase that and figure out that there's some really crazy things that happen there. Can't wait for y'all to come and check it out and see what you think. But yeah, so it's been going awesome. Groups have been reporting some pretty wild activity in there. We always get some pretty interesting things. The house is kind of just unraveling and telling a story of its own. We opened it last Halloween, so we're approaching our 1 year anniversary this Halloween, and we have an awesome event coming up there. Some of my mom's closest and dearest friends from the 1912 historic Hoover House are going to be coming up to do a table tipping event, which that took me a long time. Like I was like hands and knees watching everybody's fingers and feet, and it took me actually being on the table with people that I knew had also never done it before and had no experience, and the table coming off the floor and tilting, and there's no reason for that. So very cool. My mom loved it. So what better way than to have her closest friends up to the house that we got in her honor to kind of celebrate her and have some fun doing some ghosty stuff.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And you did mention, okay, so the Doss House is in Loretto, Pennsylvania, correct?
Yeah, correct.
So about where in Pennsylvania is that? Central, eastern, just to give people an idea.
So it's a little bit more eastern, or no, western. We're about an hour and a half outside of Pittsburgh. If you're familiar with Pennsylvania at all, we're kind of like dead smack in between Johnstown and Altoona, right in there. Where our festival was in Evansburg, it's only about 10 minutes from there. So yeah.
Which was a great festival. So you host the Creep It Real Festival, and last year was your first annual. Do you want to tell us a little bit about that? And
I mean, it was much bigger than expected. Like the idea behind it was because even though my mom was very much into paranormal, she was also very committed to helping the community, no matter how that looked. If there, she in Kane, Pennsylvania, where she lived, she donated her time at the community center, helping elders. Any events that they had in the town, she was always participating, donating, whether it be money or funds, to just her time. She was very involved in helping and supporting people. So that's where the idea came from for the festival. Like in the beginning, I was perfectly fine with having like 6 little vendors and having it at the Doss House, and we're going to have fun, right? So I just started advertising it that way. We're just going to have like a day of togetherness of, some of my mom's closest friends, find a couple little local businesses that like do craft fairs and stuff like that, just to support the community. And as you came, it became much, much bigger, which was amazing. Yeah. So like, I mean, we ran into some trials and tribulations along the way, but it turned out amazing. We had some pretty amazing people there, um, along with Patty Negri was there, of course. The Blue Bodie, Miss Irene and JD were there. Santiago Cirillo, tons of people from the community. And the event was free. And I think everybody had an amazing time. We had a moment of silence and healing for our loved ones that had passed away at 3:33, which I think was very important for me to incorporate that into the event, to recognize my mom and anyone else who was struggling with somebody that they had lost. So we had a little memorial table that people of their past loved ones, and it went awesome. I think we had over 2,000 people walk through the doors that day. So something that was supposed to be this big, was great, and everybody wants to do it again. So we're going to give it a shot and hope for the best.
The great thing about your event too is you went through a lot of trials to get the event going, from having to switch locations and then you had what's the
Old
jail
Stone
called
Jail.
again?
Old Stone Jail.
Thank you. The Old Stone Jail actually offered their location, and you were able to fit more people. It turned out to be it worked in your favor.
Yeah.
So you had a lot better experience there. And I think being that we were present there, we were able to see with our own eyes that you had tons of traffic coming through, and it was just a positive event. Everybody got along, and that's something that you really work hard to try to promote in the community.
Yeah.
Not just in your community there, but I'm talking about the paranormal community in general. Do you want to talk a little bit about that? How do you feel about that, and what drives you to do that?
To create positive environments for everybody? Is that what you're asking me? Okay. So paranormal versus community. Paranormal has become very tough. It really has. I am learning a lot of things that I didn't know existed, because, and I think that's probably one of my biggest challenges, is that people don't believe that people have truthful intentions anymore. They really don't. Because people have been hurt so much and backstabbed so much and lied to so much. So when I present myself that way, I mean what I say, and I actually follow through with what I say with my actions. And it is taking that next step of following through with actions for people to truly believe that you are a good-hearted individual, still human at the end of the day, who's very capable of making mistakes. But that's been tough. Dealing with certain individuals that, it's kind of like, and I don't want to take this to like a backwards stand on things, but, it is true what people say that, when somebody is doing good and you are being successful and you are making positive change, there's always somebody that wants to just have a foot or two on that coattail in the back, just to see where that might drag them along to. And that's kind of disheartening, because you think you're making friends along the way, you're entrusting people, and it sometimes it doesn't turn out that way. Like, don't get me wrong, I've made way more amazing friends than I have not. But that's hard for me because I am truthful and I am genuine. So, and I give everything to everybody equally. So that's been the hardest part for me. And my friend Bodie just says, well, that's just because you're a squishy Pisces, and that's always you, and you'll be fine. And she's probably right, but
we'll be having her. We'll have her on in our next season, so that'll be great to have her.
She's super excited.
Have her visit us.
Yeah. So
as far as that event, though, you could definitely feel the community. There was a lot of people from different walks of life and different backgrounds.
So and that day being so positive, it was like perfect. Like, everybody was just, and everybody wants to go to an event and make money, right? Like, that's a goal for vendors. But if you can go to an event and walk away not making much money, but still, and not saying people didn't make money, because they did, but walking away feeling amazing about the day and the connections that you made with people and just the positive attitude that everybody had, to me, that was the goal of the event. And I think that highly surpassed its expectations.
Yeah, I agree.
I think so. I'd like to hope so.
So for a theory to get to the conversation, there's a lot of paranormal hotspots right there in that area.
Oh, yeah.
Do you think there's connections to any other location?
I don't know. We are in the process of diving down that rabbit hole. Because I mean, the Crescent Sanatorium is like 15 minutes in the opposite direction that the Old Stone Jail is. And then you have the Nanny Glow Theater. This area of Pennsylvania in general has so much. I mean, I don't know if it's the spiritual connection, the residual energy effect. Like, I'm not really sure what it is, but there is a lot of towns in that area that even just driving through them, you're like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Let's throw this baby in reverse and plunder around this neighborhood a little bit to see what we can find, because there's some really cool places just literally within a 10-mile radius. But I don't know. I don't know. We'll see if something's connected somewhere, somehow.
There's probably a tunnel system connecting every single location.
How awesome would that be? How awesome would that be?
Well, it's not a battlefield, so I am curious if there's any
It was a
events.
highly trafficked area for the railways, for you know, railways system. I do know that it was a heavily Native American populated land before the 1800s. I do know that, but I'm not 100% sure. We'll see where that rabbit hole leads. Yeah.
Looking forward to investigating those areas even more out that way in PA.
Girl, I'm telling you, I can't wait to see you in these places.
It's gonna be fun.
Yeah, it is.
So, speaking of paranormal activity and all the different towns in Pennsylvania, what about paranormal activity within the Doss House? What are some of the most memorable pieces of evidence that you've seen yourself, but also that have been shared with you from teams that have visited?
Okay. So my personal, we're going to start with the high vibrational energy experience. Okay. We're going to start with that. So we had our group was in there. We literally had a dance party with the SLS in the barbershop. We played some old, I think it's Conway Twitty. We had some of the most intelligent SLS responses that night in there, literally like, hey, put your hands out, grab my hands and let's dance. Like, give me a high five. Like, everything we asked of spirit that showed up on the SLS, it was absolutely incredible. Like, that was a good time. And like all of us singing and just the positive energy that was in there was amazing. So that's my most promising memory of the Doss House. There's several for me low vibrational energies in there. I can't particular because I'm not a medium. I don't have those abilities. I very much have feels. I see things, I hear things. I had like some clairvoyancy stuff, but I haven't really figured it all out yet because this is so new to me. But there was an experience with myself physically. So there's two things that have happened to me in the basement. I now avoid the basement at all costs. For one, because it scared the everlasting crap out of me. And for two, because now the house knows that I'm afraid when I go down there. So I'm just not going to risk it, okay, to be even more terrified. So the first incident, I had my good friends Sarah Lee and Jay. It was their first visit to the house. And, you know, it started out, it was in the middle of the day. It was crazy. We were getting footsteps and it sounded like something jumped out of the tree onto the roof. It was just knocking back. Like it was pretty intense. And we made our way down to the basement and Sarah Lee was under Estes and, you know, some intelligent conversation, not so nice conversation. And I felt really hot all of a sudden. And then it looked like I was underwater. I felt like I was being held underwater. I was luckily sitting in a chair. Jay was like tugging on my shoulder. He said my face went as red as a tomato. And like, I knew what was happening, but I didn't know why or what was causing it. So I tried to like suck it up a little bit and try to like, you mess with your eyes. You think you're like hallucinating or you're just going a little cuckoo or, you know, I don't know. So it continued for about 5 minutes, and then I had to tap out, and I went upstairs and got outside, and then I was completely fine. And the things that were coming through on the Estes were collaborating with what was happening to me. So I definitely feel like something not so nice was causing those effects to me, which then instilled a little bit of, I don't want to say fear, but just, no, I'm going to say fear, because now, I'm afraid of something even worse happening when I go down there. So that was kind of, it was weird. I don't know what it was or who it was or why it was doing that. I know it was possibly affiliated with an incident that happened 2 weeks prior to that. There was an event at the house actually with Bodie, and she became so sick as soon as she got to the house. She couldn't even participate in the event. And we were recording live for her platform, even though she wasn't able to participate. And when we were reviewing the footage back, as Larissa is walking from the old basement up into the front basement, you clear as day, there's a furnace and then a brick wall. You clear as day see a little girl standing there. You can see every feature, every detail of her sleeve, her nose, her ear. And then her eye sockets were black, like completely blacked out. So we discover this when we're watching this, and, we're talking about it, and, oh, how didn't we see this? And then everybody moves on conversation. And I'm like, wait a minute, like, why are we not talking about this creepy thing that we just saw? Like, is this just escaping everybody's mind? But so I'm associating that with the little girl in the green dress that Doss, the barber, always complained about. But I'm not really sure. I'm not really sure why she showed herself that way. I just know that the energy in that space down there is not a very nice energy. So for whatever reason, I don't know, maybe in the back of my mind, I have a fear of little girls with black eyeballs. I don't know. So it knew just what to show. I don't really know. But that was probably, my two most, like, yep, I'm not going in that space again. Now I know Danielle, unfortunately she couldn't be on here tonight. During Creep It Real, there was 2 seances that happened at the Doss house in that basement, because we wanted to have as many people there as possible to experience the seances with Patty Negri and Bodie. So we set the tables up in the basement. I'm not really sure if that was a good idea or not, but unfortunately, I was at the jail and Danielle was running the events at the Doss house. And apparently at both of these seances, Ashley, I'm not sure if you've ever met Ashley with Dark Hollow. Ashley and Danielle were sitting on this big green bench in the basement, right in front of this crawl space that goes back behind the steps. This is a space that everybody claims, there's a weird energy behind there. But nobody ever goes in there and investigates. They just can't, for some reason, they don't go in there. That's where they set the bench. And apparently during these seances, that bench kept getting hit from the back. Like they would feel an energy build, hit the bench. And by the end of the seances, the bench had moved so far. Like when they started, they were able to walk into the bench and sit down at the table. By the end of the seance, Danielle had to pull her legs up, get up, step over the arm of it because it was butted up to the table. So that was pretty crazy. I can't wait to see the footage back. Corey Mason actually just sent me all that video to see what possibly that's about. I don't know, but that's crazy. Like there was like 500 pounds in that bench, and it happened.
It moved it like nothing.
Yeah, like nothing. Yeah. So
that's the thing though, like having a location where anybody, not just anybody, but people can come in, or people can come in and investigate.
Yeah.
People bring things with them unintentionally, intentionally, it really doesn't matter, but they bring them with them.
Yeah.
And so you never know if that was there before or it came later.
Yeah.
And you
tell you, like from when we started off, there were certain energies that we knew were there.
Yeah.
It's tenfold now, for sure.
I also believe too that like we were saying earlier, and like JD mentioned, the locations like of your house, the jail, Crescent, just the area has
Yeah.
like feels heightened in paranormal activity.
Mhm.
There's always the possibility of something just passing through
Oh,
on that
absolutely.
day. So
Absolutely.
yeah.
The
So
town
you
of
never
Loretto, though, itself historically has so much happening for itself. Like I said, like prior to the 1800s, it was the home of 4 Native American tribes first. Then Prince Gallitzin came in and pushed them all out. Then started establishing the town as his own. He was the priest, which is, he's associated with the minor basilica that's there, and the place where the nuns are. And then at the opposite end, you have Schwab Estates with all the monks now live there, and their cemeteries and all of that. And then literally the Doss house sits right in between both of them.
Yeah. And
So,
I've had experiences in what you would call holy places,
mhm.
monasteries, and there have been experiences that I've directly had and stories that I've heard where things are happening on the outside
Mhm.
in a holy place, around a holy place, and if
Yeah.
you fall between
Yeah.
these spaces, you never know what's going to be
Right.
passing
And it
through.
does, now, like you're saying that, it does, it sometimes kind of seems like, a highway for
Yeah.
spirits. The first night we were ever in there, it was not a spirit of the house. It was a spirit of the town. So that's really neat. And lately we've been discovering that people that visit the house, their loved ones are coming through to them there, which is very weird. Like, I've never really experienced that anywhere. And I'm attributing it to, because like the intention of the place, and it was
Exactly.
established because of family. And, you know, like I tell people all the time, like, they're like, why are you doing this? And why are you chasing ghosts? And da da da. And I'm like, well, I said, I look at it this way. If you lost somebody so close to you that was so important to you, and you missed time with them when they were here on earth, and you have all these, if you had the opportunity to just see them, speak to them, have acknowledgement that they're there with you, even for 2 seconds, isn't that worth it all? Like,
Totally.
yeah. So that's what it is for me. Yeah.
Well, Native Americans were a lot more spiritual also, so they kind of started that communication.
Right.
And
Also,
then we've been investigating, well, you guys have been investigating that place. It could have opened better
yeah.
communication more.
Oh, absolutely.
And you said it was also a barbershop, correct? So people would
Correct.
be normally coming in and out of the space in
Mhm.
history. So why wouldn't people come in and out of the space after that?
Exactly.
So
And I'm not sure when I was on before how much we actually knew then. But documentation wise, for just this location alone, like, we found out that this was the original meeting house for Prince Gallitzin. We found a documented record from 1810. So that was the first, like, the original living room basement was the first structure made in this town. It wasn't deeded as a property though until 1843. So it was this whatever it was for that amount of time. And then it went to the town's undertaker, Dr. Pfaff, who was like this with Prince Gallitzin. I mean, which then next we found that the house was deeded to 3 women. All women's first name was Mary. We get Mary a lot in that house. And how weird is that in the 1800s, a property being deeded to women? It was unheard of.
yeah.
Unheard of. So you had 3. What's happening over there? Three women, Mary.
As soon as you started talking about Mary's, like something felt like it went through my head, and my ears started ringing. That's crazy.
Welcome to the Doss house. Welcome to the Doss house.
Yeah,
So
you're being called for already.
Yeah, we don't know why. Like, because it wasn't heard of, right? Like, back then, women weren't given anything.
Yeah.
So then it went on to another doctor. His name was Dr. Leo T. Little. He was a dentist, but back then dentists did all the things. They were the red, white, and blue pole. Like, they did all of the things. And then Doss, Adolf Steek, he was the barber of the town. So we did establish at least that line of history that has been established there. So that's been cool. So we've actually been able to like trigger and ask questions in regards to certain specific things. So I'm curious to see what happens for Miss Irene now, because I saw your reaction to that. I was like, what's going on?
No, when you were talking about the basement too, I just felt so sick. You know, it's really interesting. We've had a lot of people on, and we've had locations on, and this is the first time I've actually been feeling things. And you're not even sitting in the DOS house right now,
Right.
so
Right.
it's kind of interesting what's coming through. I think it knows that you know, just like any medium, I think it knows that I'm coming.
Oh, it does. And I was going to bring that up. So we have noticed that over the last year, there's been a history of people reporting like, you know, they book the house, they know they're coming, and things start happening and dreams start happening. And then they're sick and something's trying to keep them from going there. And then they make it there. And then when they're there, like they're the one person, like their electronics start working. I feel like I'm torturing you by keeping talking.
Keep going.
Their electronics won't work. We had one, Sarah, her iPhone watch showed that she did not exist the entire time that she was at the DOS house. That had never happened to her before. So people having car troubles, like having weird dreams, or like there's people that can astral travel and they're like, I was there and I experienced this. And then but then you have other groups that have no effect from the house. But it's been showing that people within groups that have abilities, it's affecting them the most.
Oh, great.
So I'm curious. So you have a month to go. Like you have a whole month to wait.
I know.
I know I had a weird dream last night, and I had bad luck all through today. So.
Oh, man.
JD can feel a lot of things. He senses a lot. So it makes sense.
Man, I feel like I should send you a waiver now.
Yeah, send it in advance. The pre-waiver.
Oh, man. You guys will like be mindful though of what's happening, and I'm curious to find. And then I'm curious to see like what happens when you leave, because I've been keeping track of everything like that too. So it's been very, very interesting.
You know, it's a unique space. I haven't even been in it, and I know it's so well. You know, pun intended, I guess. Unique paranormal. You know, but it is a unique space. Mm-hmm. Just in interviewing you, like I saw spirit behind you in the first time you were on. Yeah. So I find it really interesting. It feels active, and you know, and like I you know, very much anticipate. I'm excited. You know, we're all excited to come and investigate.
I can tell you that it's kind of spoiled us, you know, because we go to all of these places, and, you know, there has not been a time that I've been at the DOS house that something significant hasn't happened. And yeah, it's crazy. We've definitely been lucky that we have this place out there for everybody to experience. It's a pretty cool place.
I think it's a testament
to you quite a list of names. What a list of names that have visited, from YouTubers to tour leaders and all kinds of different people.
Yeah, we've probably had over 150 groups in there so far in a year. It's been crazy. It's been crazy. It has been crazy.
And it sounds like it's helped to learn more about the house and the history. So.
Mm-hmm. We have, I'm not sure if you're familiar with Sean and Courtney from Hill City Paranormal. They're from Virginia. If you're not familiar with them, amazing people. Definitely good people to get to know. He is actually, Sean is very scientific. Like he obviously loves just your free, you know, going in, paranormal investigating, see if you can get some intelligent response, play with all the fun little toys, you know what I mean? But he's also very scientific. He has a lot of equipment that, you know, I don't even know, because I am not scientific, but he has all these cool things that, you know, test different scientific measures. And if you get something, he can capture that and then, you know, read it graphically to figure out, okay, can this be something real, or is there maybe something in the area that could be causing this to happen? Or he's like, so that's going to be coming up. I'm hoping in December we're going to be able to get him out to do something like that. Because I love that aspect of it too. Like just trying to figure out what is exactly happening. Like first time ever was when they were up and we noticed like this plasma. I didn't know that's what you called it at the time, you know? And I was like, what? We were like, what is this? It looks like a fog or this black mist on the ground. And it was kind of like moving and coming back. And it was the weirdest thing ever. So, and he was actually a little stumped by it too. And he sent it out to a whole bunch of people and they're like, oh yeah, man, they were like, that's plasma. Like that was a energy trying to manifest itself and just wasn't strong enough to complete the process. So I was like, huh. So like, yeah, those cool things are awesome.
So that was a video file?
What's that?
That was a video file?
Yeah, he has a video of that.
Was it security camera footage or something you guys noticed at that time?
No, it was so that big fancy 3D grid that is out there. He had his actual camera. I'm not sure what kind, big old fancy camera thing set up in the dining room that was recording it all as well. So he had the camera set up over here at the stairs. We had that grid recording over here in the doorway. And he had something else over here by the basement steps. So like this view, you could see it kind of like coming from the basement area. And then this, you know, you could see it circling around here in front while the grid was mapping all of the movement that was being detected on the ground, as well as us like watching this. And I had never experienced anything like it in my life. So when he came back and explained the scientific way of it and how they determined what it possibly was, it made a lot more sense. It was cool. Yeah.
I look forward to you sharing that or seeing that posted. It'll be fun.
Well, they should be putting that out. I think on their YouTube channel, they'll probably put that out eventually. Yeah. Yep. Super
so
cool.
Do you feel, and you talked about, your different types of experiences, and I'm sure he's using equipment that looks at temperature, pressure in the air, things like that. Yeah. Do you feel like certain times of the year, or certain types of weather? So like patterns have you noticed anything like an uptick like before storm when like that static electricity or that electricity that's in the air is a little bit higher?
Yeah, I do. Now you're the first person that's ever asked me that. I know like moon phases definitely is a huge thing for over there. I don't know if it's like the thinning of the veil or I don't know. I don't know all of the things, but some of the moon phases, like it's been insane. I do know like if it's, how you get the feels like when you're walking up to a haunt and you're getting ready to go through a haunted house and you're really nervous and like it can be like super dry and it's like crispy leaves and you don't feel as intense in a situation like that. But if you pulled up and it was like misty and foggy, like maybe it just got a little bit of a drizzle, the feeling is completely different. So that's kind of like what happens every time you pull up to the DOS house. Like you can actually feel what you're probably going to be encountering that day. And there's times that because I won't ever go in there by myself. And if I have to, it will be in the middle of the day. And I always leave the front door open so I can make a quick escape if I have to. But I can tell you, like, there's been certain times in the middle of the day that I'm like, okay, setting this on the table and I'm out. And then there's other days that I'm like, oh, it feels okay in here today. Like, no big deal. I'm still not going to the basement, but I can pull the trash, clean the bathroom, do all of those kinds of things. So yeah, I would say like, yeah, definitely all of those things can attribute to any location, I think. Yeah.
Having so much activity though, I'm interested to see. So if he's picking these things up and in with his equipment, there's probably, it's something for us to look at when we come there and do our own investigation, something to think about. Because that's pretty cool to look at the where the moon is, to look at the temperature and and the pressure and everything in the atmosphere. That's
Absolutely.
pretty cool.
Yeah.
There's going to be a lot more water because we'll probably have snow by that time.
Maybe. Yeah.
Maybe.
We might
I
get
don't know.
lucky.
Their seasons are getting pushed back further and further. Like, I don't know
Yeah.
what's happening.
Let's
It's
just
crazy.
knock on wood there for a second. Oh man. Okay. So now you're someone who, and that's this is what I love about you, is that you're someone who wants to, again, maintain that positive atmosphere, promote community and kindness to others. And you're starting your own podcast. It's called Divine Ascensions. And I was wondering if you could talk a little bit about why you felt you needed to start this. I know you probably alluded to it, a little earlier, but just kind of give us a background and your tagline, which I absolutely love, turning pain into power, one conversation at a time. So if you could kind of discuss why that is important for you and where that came from.
Sure. So, I mean, on this grief journey that I've been on, I always feel like I can be doing something bigger and better. I need to help somebody in a different way, or I can't really explain it, but it's like each task that's given to me, I do it to the best of my ability, and I know it's time to move on to something else. This was kind of one of those moments. I was actually doing a podcast at the Doss House, and I knew my mother was there, which doesn't happen very often, which kind of threw me into an emotional spiral, which is also very unlike me. I'm usually very charismatic and joking, and I'm a smart aleck, and that's just who I am. And so this really caught me off guard. And we were actually having a conversation because she asked me, so what's next for you? And I was like, I don't know. And we were talking about my mom's abilities and, how she had struggled with acceptance through her life. And I literally heard my mom's voice in my head telling me, like, this is what you need to do next. This is what you need. And basically, in a nutshell, my mom, for years and years and years, her family was never accepting of her having gifts. They basically, she was 63 years old when she passed away. So, 50, 40 years ago, if you mentioned that you're seeing a spirit or you were locked up somewhere and heavily medicated. And her family ridiculed her to the degree that she just took it all inward and didn't say anything. And she led most of her life that way up until the last 15 years of her life. She had gotten remarried and they moved out to the East Coast, and she ran into a group of people that were paranormal investigators. And she just connected with them, and they accepted her with open arms. With the first time in her life, she didn't feel like, she was crazy or had, anything that was wrong with her. And that damage that was put on her at such a young age carried with her up until she passed away. Because she was sick for about 3 years and nobody would find anything. Nobody was believing her. It was like she was kind of just building this repetitive story, kind of like everybody in her family was, treating it as like the little boy that cried wolf. So when she finally did get her diagnosis 7 weeks before she actually passed away, these family members are calling me like, is this true? My mom's upset and crying. And I told you she always called me Boo. I told you, Boo, I wasn't lying. I said, Mom, I never doubted you. I never for 1 second doubted you. I said, and I'm really sorry that your family, is making you feel this way, and nobody should have to go their whole life feeling this way. So I knew in that moment that my next venture was to be some type of voice or platform for people to reach out to as a safe space to get help from people who have dealt with similar things like this. And it doesn't have to, be directly associated with this specific, thing that my mother dealt with. But there's a wide variety of people that struggle with things in this community that, they've been ridiculed their whole lives and bullied, and they have nowhere to turn, and they just go inward. And the unaliving rate for people, because they have been made to feel like they are crazy, is ridiculous. And I think if more people were open to of helping people, but that's a facade in the whole society. Like, the world is a cruel place sometimes, and reaching out to help your neighbor doesn't happen very often anymore, or accepting people for who they are, knowing that you can't change who people are, but you can accept them for who they are as an individual. There's a big difference there. So yeah, that's what this platform is being designed for, to anybody that's struggling with anything, anywhere, at any time. And depending on what that struggle is, my goal is to reach out to educated people who have overcame that pain and have now turned that into power, so that these people can guide these people who are still living in that pain, but deserve to turn it into power. So that is the whole goal of that podcast.
And that's wonderful.
Yeah.
How can, if somebody wants to be a guest on the podcast, can you give people a little information on how they can reach out to you, so you can?
Sure. So I will be eventually designing its own website, but until that happens, the DOS House, Unique Paranormal 1.5, we're on all platforms anywhere. You feel free to send us a direct message on any of those. Our email address is thedoshouse278@gmail.com. I check it several times a day for anybody, for anything. We also have a website, thedoshouse-pa.com. There's a whole list of ways to contact us on there as well.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Is it going to be, how is it going to be, what's the format? Is it going to be an hour, half hour? Do you know yet?
It's going to be just depicted on what each individual needs. So that's just how it's going to roll. And if the demand isn't that high, then it will just happen when it's needed. But just continuously throwing things out there, letting people know that, hey, there's a safe space here if you need it, even if you don't want to be on the podcast and you need a safe space to reach out to get guidance of where to turn. That's the goal of it too. Yeah.
And
It's always good to have that environment.
Absolutely.
Obviously, we're all part of the queer community as well as the paranormal community.
Yeah.
We know how all of those different levels of judgment fall into place. For sure.
I don't fit in anywhere.
Girl, you fit right here, and that's all that matters.
Yes, that's true.
You find your people when you're supposed to find your people. You have your crew and your people, and you meet the people along the way that you're supposed to meet. And my mom preached divine order every day, all day when she was here. She was a firm believer in that. And she was also a firm believer that lavender oil cures all things. Headache, lavender oil. Cut on your knee, lavender oil. You have a cold, lavender oil. Oh yeah, it's like an ongoing joke with us. But
it's like the Greeks, ouzo and vix. It was pretty much
slices of onion in your socks.
Yeah.
Cured from all things. Yeah.
Okay, so can you tell us again, so people who are new to learning about the DOS House, how people can investigate? Do you offer public or just private investigations? And I know you talked about your social media and the website, but if you want to kind of let them know again on how they can reach out to you.
Sure. So you can, if you want to run it publicly, it's open 7 days a week. We do weekday and weekend rates. If you want to do just like a Friday or a Saturday, or we do where you can book the entire weekend. We do have heat for the winter, which is amazing. And we do have a flushing toilet. So that's good. But yeah, the only event wise, if you want to book it and hold your own event, you pay to run it. You can do whatever you want with it. We don't withhold anything. We allow everybody to record and put up their YouTube channels. You're running it. You do what you want. It is what it is. But yeah, so we have people there for events all of the time. Obviously, Bodie has done events there. I occasionally will do, like, if the house isn't booked, I'll throw something into the universe like, hey, we're going to be there. Anybody in the community that wants to come and hang out and investigate or learn or just take a tour of the house, like, come on over. So we do that a lot too there. So booking, your easiest way is through the email, probably, or a direct message on one of the Facebook platforms. But again, like, all of that information is on the website. That's the DOSHouse-PA.com.
Very cool.
Yep. And for spooky season, it's $100 off. So gotta come out.
Better get out there. That's a good deal.
Yeah. So usually whenever I run a promotion like that, I'll run a promotion for 30 days and you can pick any date within the next 6 months on the calendar. And people seem to really like that. So it's been working out pretty good. We've been pretty busy.
Yeah. Hence the 150 investigations or so.
Which we've also implemented now. Like, we have the digital keypad on there. So if you're a repeat guest and you don't need like a tour or any information, I just set a passcode for you and you just let yourself in. You can get right to it. Yeah, because who wants to be bothered by me? No one.
So go ahead, Jamie.
For keeping real this next year in June, do you have any ideas, plans in the works?
Working on that. Dave has so much going on over at the jail, lots of renovations. He's got the roof getting repaired, putting in a lot of new cool things over there. So as far as structurally how we're going to run things, not really sure yet. But as far as events, it's just going to be very similar to last year. We're going to highlight some different people. And, so everybody, can get more involved and do more things, and, meet more people. So I'm hoping to have some different things happening at the Doss House. I'm hoping to have some different things incorporated more at the Doss House than we were able to last year because of, the last minute move. Because we had some pretty awesome people in town that were kind of upset that they weren't upset, but disappointed that they didn't get to go over to the house. As cool as the jail is, like, everybody loved that experience. It's a cool place as well. But I think because the Doss House was behind the reason for all of this and, my mom and all of those things, I'm trying to implement some more things to be happening over there for the weekend. So as far as the actual festival itself goes, that will still just be on Saturday. The vending event will be on Saturday. But I think we're going to do things at the Doss Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So,
very nice.
Yeah. Well, I'm working out all the details for that. We have to ask people if they're game for things before I actually do the stuff. So we'll see. It's going to be fun. It's going to be a lot of fun.
When you say Saturday, that's Saturday, June 20th from 11 to 7 p.m.
One thing that is different, though, this year is we will be having a parade prior to the start of the festival. So Evansburg is going to allow us to have a parade. It's going to be a hometown hero parade that we tried to have in Loretto, and they were like, yeah, no, demon chaser people, you're not allowed to do that. So, but Evansburg is all on board with it. So we are super excited. It's going to be hometown hero based, obviously, for exactly what that is. Firemen, police department, medical professionals, anybody, veterans, wounded warriors, all of that kind of stuff. And kids that can dress up as their favorite superhero or princess. And we're going to have a community parade in the town that will just end right there at the jail. And we will start the day there.
Oh, that's awesome.
No, it's going to be so much fun.
Can I get a vest and a whistle and help out and just start playing?
Yeah. Just decorate your car and put all sparkly stuff. Yeah. I have a dog under my feet and I keep afraid of stepping on him. So yeah, it's going to be fun. It's going to be a lot of fun.
That's exciting. We're really looking forward to it. And the good thing, like you like to benefit charities with what you do. So, do you want to talk a little bit about that, or charities that mean a little more to you that are near and dear?
I mean, all charities mean a lot to me. I think every charity has a good, solid foundation of supporting something. So, that's positive. Last year, our charity of choice was the St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital. I think we raised $482 for them last year, just based on donations. We just put a little donation thing out there. This year, it will be Santiago Cirillo's charity, Haya Nation, which is, all of the things: anti-bullying, mental health awareness, stuff for veterans, all of those things. So that is going to be our charity of choice this year. And if anybody ever has some suggestions for some that would be a good idea, please let me know. We're happy to help and support everybody.
So you heard that. Send that to them at the Doss House and let them know if you have any suggestions, or if you have a charity of your own, let them know.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So, have you, since we last spoke to you, aside from the SLS experience, have you had any kind of, it doesn't even have to be at the Doss House, any kind of recent paranormal experience, you and Danielle, or like the group of people that you were with, have you had an experience that has affected you, with the exception of what you've already talked about within the Doss House, even anywhere, any kind of paranormal investigation, anything that stood out for you?
Yeah, actually. And well, one is the Reliquary, which is a brand new location that Bodie's opened up, just because that's fresh and new and we're just starting to learn that place. They did, Bodie and Danielle. Danielle is also, what is happening? What is happening?
I don't think I've ever sneezed on the podcast before. That's interesting. Anyway, go ahead.
Maybe you're going to be allergic to the Reliquary. I don't know.
I might be.
Oh, shoot. So, anyways, the Reliquary, God bless you.
Thank you.
Look at JD's actually even smiling. What's going on?
Let's hope I'm not allergic to
I didn't even notice that.
He didn't even notice. He's just smiling because we are.
That's how much I matter.
Oh, what were we talking about again?
The water all over myself.
Is the Reliquary
Please hold for this commercial break.
that area?
Irene needs a minute.
Oh, sorry, JD. All right.
She's really not. It's fine. Okay, so the Reliquary, first time ever, because Danielle is actually a very talented psychic medium as well. I can't look at you or I'm going to laugh. So I'm going to look over here.
Okay.
So, she has those light up dowsing rods. Stop it. She has those light up dowsing rods that have the EMF on the end.
Fancy, yes.
Yeah, it is super fancy, right? She loves these things, and they're super cool for like when you're on a live or you're recording, you can have all the lights off and you're just seeing these cool rods, right? So we tried an experiment where she was holding one and Bodie was holding the other one. So, I mean, obviously you kind of got to be like, psychically linked up a little bit for that. And we got a name because this church has its own little cemetery. Very intelligent responses. Like it was like, bam, like, and how you can't fake that, right? Two people are holding two different things. And we ended up getting a name of a gentleman who brought up a history of his long lost love from war. And that he was upset that her headstone was missing from out in the cemetery. Now, this cemetery is so old that there are a lot of headstones that the top portion is missing, or they have fallen forward and are laying in the ground. Like Bodie's doing, this whole, I don't even know, like she's doing some things to raise funds to, like fix up the graveyard. So that happened all in the cathedral, which then led them out to the cemetery. And then they asked this gentleman to lead them to where her grave was. And they walked around and they said, make an X when we get to where she's at. And it led them right to a spot of an unmarked grave. So now Bodhi's like working to get like the map of each individual and what was marked and stuff. So that was actually really cool to experience that, because we'd never done anything like that before. So yeah, that's probably my most recent memorable, just because it's so fresh and new and the place is new. And the growls that you get in there. Like there's something in there that's not mean. Like it's not like like a low vibrational energy, but it's just something that's just like, rawr, just to scare the crap out of you. And then it goes back to its little playful self. So that's pretty cool too. I can't wait to see what everybody's going to get from in there, because that's a brand new spot too. So yeah, I'd say that place, just because it's fresh in my brain.
It's a pretty big
What
location.
region is that?
What?
Which region is that?
That's in Fredonia, Pennsylvania, right next to Mercer. I think you guys are just straight up from there, aren't you?
That's actually, near us. Yeah, closer to us.
Yeah, so not too far. Look at him. Look at his wheels are spinning.
Oh, wait, we're already planning. We're coming out that way. So
just come when it's warm.
Right,
Either you got to come now or you got to wait. Come when it's warm, because there's only like one little area in there that's heated, and the cathedral in the basement is not. So come in the springtime. That will be fun.
Have you ever seen the Livingston Poorhouse documentary? That was not. That was a lot of snow. That was
no
wrong boots for that walkthrough for sure. But it was a great investigation.
I would lay some money down to see y'all trek it through the Crescent Sanatorium in like January. You literally can only have like this much of your. It's up on the Crescent summit. So like literally pull your string is, oh man, it's like walking through a blizzard. How the wind whips through there. Dark Hollow does it all the time, and they post like meme videos of themselves going through there. It is insane. I'm like, you guys are crazy. There's no amount of hand warmers. There is no amount of plug them in socks that's gonna get me to do that. Never.
I think I've actually had them on the podcast, Crescent Sanitarium Motors.
Oh yeah.
So that's a place that I've wanted to go for a long time.
Cool place. Not really sure what's happening with that place right now. I know it's like haunt season. They run their haunt there every year. But they gave them last year with Paranormal. Dark Hollow was, really trying to get the place exposure and getting people up there. And I think they were pretty successful, but I don't know if the owner was satisfied with that just yet. So I'm not really sure what's going to happen. They had their first Paracon there last year. That was a lot of fun. So we'll see. I hope that they can get the owner to let them.
Well, a place like that is probably expensive.
Well, and it's for sale. Irene, you have like $2.1 million. Like,
yeah,
let's do this.
Yeah, let me just Apple Pay that. We'll take care of it.
Yeah.
How do I Venmo?
Hanging out in my Cash App. It's fine.
Yeah.
Hi, buddy. Can you get down here? Down. Get down. It's my kid's dog. He's so lonesome. We've been at the hospital so much.
Oh yeah, like I don't know if you want to talk about, but you've got to
check out my T-shirt.
Oh, you've got it. There you go.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
With the name on the.
Yeah. Get down there. Yeah. So yeah, what was it 2 days ago? I became a grandma, granny. Oh, he's losing his mind. We're gonna do some zoomies now. Yep.
He's excited that you're a grandmother.
I think he's
a very young grandmother to boot.
Yeah.
Whoa.
This is my life.
That's what's going to happen when Jason gets up from his chair because he's coming.
Yeah, it'll be fine.
JD's going to get up the same way because he's coming to investigate the DOS house. So he's going to get up, trip over something.
Just leave the front door open at all times.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a klutz. Well, we both are. So
Yeah, we both.
Oh, and when the DOS, like, because it's so old, like the ceilings are like you can literally reach up and touch them.
Oh man.
So it's one of those. Like you're like, boop, okay. So if you have any height to you, which JD, you're not a short guy, like you might have to every doorway. So you might leave your DNA on some of those. Lots of DNA left on the doorways in the DOS house. Actually, the stairwell. Those are fun. Mhm.
Great.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it.
Irina's actually just about as tall as I am.
So
Yeah,
yeah, we'll
cool.
do something. We'll
You're gonna-
bump
yeah.
into something. We'll
All
fall
I'm
down
gonna tell you is
something.
when you go from the new basement to the back basement, you have to stay down for a good 5 feet because just get past the vented pipe. That's what gets everybody. And then when
Yeah.
you're going back up the basement steps, just hands it like feet and hands until you get almost to the top because everybody just tries to stand up too soon and they realign their spine every time.
Oh gosh.
Boom. Yeah.
I've done that a couple
I'll do
times.
that.
Might have to put like a little LED strip on there or something so everybody can
I'll just
see
wear
it.
a little hat that has a sensor when I'm getting
Maybe
too
I'll
close.
do it just for you guys.
Yeah.
Just to make sure everybody stays safe.
Oh, we'll do our best. We'll try. We can't promise, but we'll do our best.
I'm going to be making sure to tune in onto the cameras that night.
Yeah. And we'll
Catch
definitely have some surprises for you when you do that.
Catch all the bloopers.
Well, Shawnna, it's been great having you on. We always enjoy
Thank you.
working with you and seeing you. So, and congratulations on the new baby,
Thanks.
and the location being so successful, and and the first Creep It Real. It really was a great event. We had a great time there.
Thank you.
Really.
Thanks.
JD?
So thanks everyone for joining us tonight for this episode of the podcast. We will not have a new episode next weekend. We have other plans. Then the last weekend, October 26th, we have a showcase for the Private Eye Paranormal series to go over season 1 and discuss season 2. Okay. Have a good night.